So the coronavirus continues to wreak havoc across the world, and there are new strains that are being found, new studies being done to understand the nature and the impact of the virus. And the latest update has actually come in from the United Kingdom, where the British Prime Minister has now had to admit that the British mutant variant of the coronavirus is actually much more deadlier than what was earlier estimated, besides being more transmissible. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson made this startling announcement on Friday. Listen in.
I must tell you this afternoon that we've been informed today that in addition to spreading more quickly, it also now appears that there is some evidence that the new variant, the variant that was first identified in London and the South East, may be associated with a higher degree of mortality.
But this news, of course, comes in as the United Kingdom is registering its highest number of deaths since the beginning of the pandemic. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has blamed the mutant version of the virus for this overwhelming surge in the number of infections. Now, the strain was first identified in the southeast of England in September, and since then, the mutant version of the virus has spread to more than 60 other nations, including China, where the pandemic began more than a year ago. Britain is witnessing the third and the worst yet surge of the coronavirus over the past week. COVID-related deaths have risen by 16%, and cases that require hospitalization has seen an exponential rise. And experts say that the case that requires emergency attention are now doubling up to what it used to be back in the month of April last year, the time when the virus was at its peak in Europe in its first wave of the pandemic.
The NHS is under such intense pressure, with another 40,261 positive cases since yesterday. We have 38,562 COVID patients now in hospital. That's 78% higher than the first peak in April. And tragically, there have been a further 1,401 deaths.
But it's not just all bad news, though. Britain's chief medical officer has said that the R number is going down, the first time since the month of December. Now, the R number is a measure to determine whether the epidemic is growing or is shrinking.
I'm glad to say that in the most recent data, there has been a turning of the corner on that, and the number of people with infections has gone down. But it has gone down from an exceptionally high level. And their most recent estimate is we're still at a stage in England where 1 in 55 people have the virus.
The situation in the United Kingdom, though, continues to remain extremely grim, and Britons are pinning their hopes on a return of normalcy on its vaccination programme. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has assured the nation that as per the latest evidence, all approved vaccines have proven to be effective against the mutant strains of the coronavirus. Now, Britain started its vaccination drive, remember, in the month of December last year, was the first nation to in fact approve the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine.
All current evidence continues to show that both the vaccines we're currently using remain effective both against the old variant and this new variant. And so you'll also want to know that our immunisation programme continues at an unprecedented rate. 5.4 million people across the UK have now received their first dose of the vaccine, and over the last 24 hours we can report a record 400,000 vaccinations.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.